and welcome to this recording of Battle of the Apps. In this series, I invite app developers and users to showcase their chosen solution, but also to tell you how this can make a positive difference to your business. I am your host, Pascal, and today I am joined by Kennedy and Rob, the creators of Response Suite. So to begin with, welcome to Battle of the Apps. And can I ask both of you, where are you and how are you doing at this moment in time?
We're both based in the northeast of England, so I'm here in Whitley Bay, just outside of Newcastle, and Rob is in County Durham, which is down there a bit.
What do you mean? So we're almost neighbours then, Rob. Are you happy to reveal where in County Durham?
Oh yes, I'm in the beautiful old village of Bishop Auckland.
Right. Well, I'm in Walsingham, so when we can, maybe you and I should meet for a coffee, and then we'll let Kennedy know how lovely it was to be in County Durham.
Oh, definitely.
Sure.
So I invited Kennedy and Rob to, of course, talk about their platform. But let me tell you that, those two gentlemen are quite a force to be reckoned with in the world of email marketing. I would say they are behind a movement. If you go on their website, you'll know that they're here to help small business owners to become the email marketing heroes of their business. Together, they want to fight back scammy, grubby old email marketing. And judging by the state of my inbox, you've got a long way to go, guys.
It's a hard battle.
It is a battle. Yeah, I mean, the thing, like everything, marketers break everything, don't they? Don't we though? I mean, Facebook was a lovely place, and then suddenly everybody knows how to do engagement posts, and suddenly we're voting on stuff we don't really care about. Yeah. So the same happened with email, didn't it?
So can I ask, you've got three programs, I believe. You've got the software we're going to talk about. You've got the Facebook community. You've got obviously an event, I believe, Inbox. Remind me, was it happening this year? And did you have the pleasure to go virtual?
We did. Yeah, we decided to go virtual pretty quickly because we thought what actually people need in this time of uncertainty is just some decisions, some certainty. I think that's what we all needed. So we said, rather than have people ask us and wonder, more people wondering without even asking what's happening with this, we thought, do you know what? We'll just make the decision. We'll go virtual and we'll create a higher impact, much more diverse event, which was really incredible, actually, because when you don't have to fly speakers in and you don't have to have all the not just the expense, but the scheduling issues that trying to make these big speakers who are really popular, trying to fit in with all the things and add travel days either side of that, it gave us some amazing opportunities. So yeah, we had an event called Inbox, and the feedback was amazing. We got to share email marketing strategy as it applies to all of our businesses in a sort of modern world, but from lots of different perspectives, and it was really incredible.
Now, can I say, I am a big fan of email marketing, but I know that, the spotlight is always on social media, on SEO and all the other things. So I'm delighted to be doing it to you guys, but I'm also delighted for you to have kind of taken that on board because, I mean, is it still seen as an old way of communication and we need to kind of, you almost could argue email marketing needs a new PR agent?
Yeah, we saw a guy post in a Facebook group a couple of weeks ago that said, literally, does email marketing work anymore? He was thinking about, potentially doing it, but he said, isn't everyone just on social nowadays? But we have this philosophy in our business that you should build your audience on social media because that's a great place to do it, but build a business with email because until you've got them on your list, until you own that data, and it's just somebody who's been pixeled by your Facebook, or it's just somebody who likes your Facebook or your Instagram, that doesn't really mean anything. You can't if you get a subscriber on your list, that's going to increase in value over a period of time, much more than somebody who just happens to like your Facebook page.
And I'd like to argue that email marketing will also brings discipline with it, discipline of segmentation, discipline of being relevant, discipline of being actually very close to understanding your audience. And that then carries over to the likes of social media, SEO, and all the other things. So could I ask, in terms of the platform that you're about to demonstrate, what was the spark? What was the moment where you guys got together with one of your favorite brand of coffee and went, we should do this?
Right. What was interesting is Rob wanted to run a survey to his email list to find out simply, what can I offer you next? What's the next product that I should create that you really want? Because if we just create more products that people just want to buy because they told us they already want to buy them, then we're going to waste less time creating products that sit on the virtual shelf. So he emailed his list. Hey, come take my survey. That's lovely. The next day, he thought, right, I'm going to email my list again, and I'm going to email just the people who didn't fill out the survey. I can't do that because my survey solution doesn't integrate with my email solution. So I now cannot exclude my hyper responders of the email who filled out the survey. I can't exclude them and not annoy them. So the best thing you could do was do that awful email, which just makes our toes curl when we think about it, is, hi, if you didn't take the survey yesterday, what do you mean? Like, you're now punishing the people who actually are your most engaged people. So he came to me and said, have you found a solution, either any big ones or any niche solutions, which allow you to pull together a survey or a quiz or an application form, that kind of thing, which will actually talk to your email system so you can then exclude them from future mailings to remind them to complete surveys? And I said, no. I've been looking for something similar. I can't remember why it was now, but I had been looking for something similar. And then this turned into a conversation about, but wouldn't it be good, man, if when they fill out the survey, depending on what they said in the survey, you could tag them differently or put them onto different lists or segment them differently in your email marketing solution. So not only are they integrated, but now they're segmenting. So you're using the feedback that someone's giving you rather than that big brother is watching you scary stuff about and segmenting. What if you could use the information that people are happy to volunteer? I like cats and I like going on holiday to France. If I could use that information to segment people, I could send more relevant email, because at the end of the day, email is just another app that's on your phone, on your audience's phones, that is just sitting there between TikTok and Instagram. And it's another channel for you to send notifications and information and value to. So if we can just increase the relevance of that information, people will like it more. The reason we hate email and the reason we hate email marketing the way it's been done for so many years is because of relevance and because it's been beaten over the head. So this idea of this survey tool that would allow us to collect that data started to evolve. And then we came up with a whole bunch of other features. What if also based on their choices, you could actually pixel them differently so you could show them the right ads? So not only are you now sending them the right emails about stuff they care about to solve their solutions and offer the products and advice that you need to solve those solutions, you're showing them the right ads. And what if as well, when they hit submit on the survey, quiz, application form, what if also you could send them to the most relevant web page to offer them an immediate solution based on that thing? And then we suddenly realized we'd accidentally invented a new business. We'd invented a new category, which is somewhere between mind reading and running a survey. And it sits there somewhere in this weird field. And that's how it all came about, because that's surely the idea of anonymous surveys in general is pointless. Because what are you going to do? Right? You're going to see 20% of the people think you're great and 80% of people think that you were rubbish at that particular new thing. Okay, but now you don't know who those 80% of people were. So how can you follow up with them and fix it? You can't. How can you know the people? How can you treat the people who said they like dogs differently to the people who said they like cats? If you don't integrate your surveys with your marketing system, you can't. So now what you've done is you've done the worst thing, worse than not asking them. You've asked someone's opinion and then you've ignored it. That's like saying to your wife, what do you want for dinner, darling? And she goes, I really fancy spaghetti bolognese. And you go, great, we're having a takeaway. So that's where it came from.
Right, that must have been quite a meeting, But so from there to creation, because we mustn't tease our audience much longer. We're going to go into a great demo and screen share from you guys. But from that whiteboard moment, if it was a whiteboard, I don't know, maybe you guys use something else altogether, to the first version, because I imagine over time, there's been some wonderful improvement in iteration. How long did it take for you to get to that first live stage?
Interesting. I mean, the truthful answer is that from the idea to the first thing was about 5 years, because we didn't do anything with it. We sat on it and did it manually for ages first, which is not great, but like it was just to test the concept before we like took it, because we didn't know anything about starting a software business. We're not technical at all. We don't know anything about forward slashes and semicolons. So we decided that we would just test it manually for a bit first, downloading CSV files, spending hours sorting them every day, uploading them into the thing, and eventually got a virtual assistant to do that. And it sort of worked. It definitely worked as an end result. As a process, you couldn't go as far with it as we wanted to be able to go with, you know, if you've got like 3 questions and each of the 3 questions has 3 options, you've now got this like matrix of 9. And if you wanted to segment that properly, you just couldn't do it manually. It would fall over. So we got to the point where we proved the concept, and then we felt ready as we could to say, all right, let's start this thing and see how it goes. And so from there, we took about 6 months to build our sort of first minimum viable product version that we then launched. And then, we've just been developing it ever since.
Excellent. But interestingly, you know, I know that perhaps you feel a little frustrated or wish you'd gone quicker. But if I may say so, you probably did it or launched it at the time where email marketing was back on the agenda in terms of a topic of conversation. Because I think, again, the spotlight, you know, of social media, SEO and all the others was kind of, you know, fading. And then people saying, well, actually, when you think about the return on effort, let alone investment, I think email marketing is still a better way to go about. And people, I think, reconnected with the discipline. All right. So who's going to be on the driving seat and give us that demo then?
Rob's going to drive.
Cool. So when you log into Response Suite, it looks like this. This is like the dashboard thing that you see. And effectively, it all begins by just creating a survey. So I'll very briefly show you what that looks like to actually begin. You can create one from scratch. You can duplicate one you've already got, or you can use one of our templates. So let's create one from scratch. And then basically what you can do is, just like you would imagine, you can build together a survey. So you can say, well, I want to drag in a question. And the question is going to be, what did you think of my lovely thing? So you can have a better question than that. But then you can go ahead and just drag in any type of answer you want. So you can ask people to rate it on like a sliding scale. You can do like a number block thing. So basically drag and drop it together and make it look however you want. I think that's for speed. Let's just go and grab one that we've already got for a second.
Can I just say that already I love the way you've done the dashboard on very visuals, very easy to understand. And when you said a moment ago that you guys are not techies, far from it. And I think it shows, you know, already.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we basically had to, one of the questions we asked our founding developer when he joined us in the interview was, you need to be a person who can interpret the tech world into our world, which is, we just are good at selling things. We're good at marketing stuff. We don't know about the technical things of weighted questions, and technical stuff in surveys are really not our thing. We wanted to be able to do some quite surface things, but then unraveling this whole thing with somebody who is technical and bringing those two worlds together has been beautiful. So he does the heavy lifting and the tech end of it, so that people like you and I can just do stuff that works.
In all seriousness, once in the office, Colin, our founding developer, was having a conversation with Mark, another developer, and they were talking in technical speak, and we just looked totally blank. And at the end of it, Colin looked at us, realized we didn't have a clue what they were talking about. And he said, right, so imagine there's these 2 rabbits, and one of the rabbits has all the carrots, and he explained the entire thing as a rabbit metaphor. So I've just gone into a survey that's sort of previously been built. This is one of our go-to examples, just so you can see what it looks like when it's done. You can obviously add images everywhere. You can add your logo up here in the top if you want to, etc. You can totally change the colors and style and shape of every bit of it. And so basically this is an example. You can see this is this free fitness health check that like a gym might use, or a personal trainer. So it asks some relevant questions like, what age bracket do you fall into? What's your main fitness goal? Because somebody who wants to lose fat is going to need very different help to somebody who wants to gain muscle. Very different from somebody who's training for an event. Very different from somebody who's had an accident. They're trying to recover from it. Lots of different ways of gathering the information, get people to click on images and all of that stuff. And at the end, we ask for their email address. So once you're happy with the survey, it's obviously got page breaks in it as well, which gives us a progress bar to work people through. We found if you add a progress bar, it instantly lifts the number of people who get to the end of it. We spend most of our lives digging around saying, right, but how else can we increase completion? Because at the end of the day, having the nicest survey in the world is pointless if nobody completes it. And we're really happy to say that our average across the app with people who follow our stuff is well into the 80% of people who click actually completing the survey, which is awesome. lots of settings and things we can do. So now we can start to set up things like conditional logic. So if the answer to this question is this, then make sure we hide these questions and show these questions. Because don't you hate it when you see a survey or a form and it says, which of these, did you like this? Yes or no? And the next question says, if you said yes, and you think, well, I didn't say yes, I said no. So why don't you just get rid of that question? So you can do all of that. You can do some lovely marketing integrations. So this is just a handful of them. We integrate with a whole bunch of email marketing platforms and things from Infusionsoft and HubSpot to ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit and the classic MailChimp, of course. And of course, at any point, somebody can say, okay, great, I want to integrate this with my ActiveCampaign. And now they can push all of that data from the survey. So here's the survey questions across into their ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or whatever field. So I want to put the first name into the first name field. I want to put the email address into the email address field. If you wanted to push the rest of these across, you could do that too. You can actually score the survey as well. So you can set it so that different questions and answers have different weights and different scores. So people come out of the other end of it with an end result, and you can pass that across if you want to as well. And then you can set it up to put people on different lists and different tags based on what they said. So if somebody's answer to what age bracket are you was 18 to 24, then I want to tag them to say that they were 18 to 24. If they said that their answer to that question was the next one, whatever that was, 25 to 39, I want to tag them differently. And that means that everybody within a few minutes of setting this up, everybody can start filling in that survey and instantly be tagged and segmented beautifully inside the email marketing platform to trigger different automations or to make sure they receive different broadcasts going forward from there. So that's that. Of course, there's integrations with other things as well. For example, membership programs. If you've got like an online membership, you can integrate it with your membership area to show different content to different people based on their answers. And productivity integrations, things like Google Sheets. We're rolling out Asana and Slack and Trello and all of that stuff too. So you can fire different tasks based on people having filled out your survey. And then the final bit of the builder really is our thank you pages. I've opened it in a new tab, so it's logged me out. Is basically these thank you pages that basically allows us to say to different people, take people to different pages based on what they've said, based on their answers to different questions. And then finally, and you can build those pages inside our app. So you can actually just have them go to responsesuite.com / wherever you want them to go, or you can have it take them to their actual web page. So they can build a web page on their website and take people over to there instead. And then finally, to actually share the survey, you've got really three options. You can either just copy and paste this URL and give that to people. You can make the URL look a bit neater by putting your own words in, like in this case, fitness quiz, and again, give that URL to people and they can go ahead and just fill it in. Or this one line of JavaScript here, you just copy and paste that onto any web page, WordPress blog, wherever, and the whole thing just appears beautifully in line in your actual website.
Excellent.
That is a whistle-stop tour. And of course, everything about it is customizable. So inside the builder, if you ever use something like Canva or something like that, that's kind of our benchmark of, do you want to make it look like a quiz? So it's like a really small box in the middle of the screen where you've got background images and transparencies and fonts and all that sort of stuff. So you can do all of that centrally as well across all of your surveys.
Can I quickly ask, because I'm looking at the menu on the left-hand side, Rob, and you've got reports, which I think is obviously very important. And I'm not sure how much you can show in the purpose of a demo, but what kind of data could you have for yourself as a business owner or to report back to your board or to your team leaders?
Right.
Yeah,
so, the thing is, with reports is, just about Rob sort of pulling some stuff together for you, is Response Suite is initially built as a tool that integrates with the email marketing system. It's not an analytics tool. It's not a reporting tool. But we wanted to have a basic level of reporting built into it where you could actually build some nice looking, but very simple reports. And we actually use them a lot directly ourselves. So what's really nice about these is you literally drag a report together in the same way. It's an identical builder. We literally use the same builder and you drag report elements in or scoring elements in. So if you want to show somebody their score on the thank you page, say you've got 10 out of 10 or you got 3 out of 10, try harder. You can do all of that stuff and you can lay it out with like different columns and all that sort of good stuff. But what's really, really interesting is, let's say you're building a satisfaction survey. And you want to make sure that one of your KPIs for maybe some of your team members is based on that satisfaction. What you'd often need to do is have somebody go into the tool, Response Suite, and download those satisfaction numbers, create a report out of it, and then send it to people on a regular basis. we've skipped out that entire process because we've got a thing called live reports, which basically means you can give your team members a live URL, which Rob will show you now on that next tab. You can give them this live URL, and you can just give that to your team members. They can save it as a bookmark, and that is the live data as of right now based on that report. And of course, for security reasons, obviously it's quite difficult. You make the URL difficult to guess, but you can add things like passwords and stuff like that to reports if you want to. So you've got these live reports, which are really good. We have a couple that I just have saved to my my desktop on my phone for our certain key bits of information. So that's a really useful thing to do. But yeah.
What I like about it, as much as you've said, that you've not gone down the analytics route, very often when I found myself in my previous life as a marketing officer, all the way to now being a consultant, you need to very often simplify reporting and simplify the data. And very often, the platform you use gives you such good data, but that's for you, the expert. But when you need to report back to clients or to your leaders, you have to almost take things out of the report so that not to confuse or to overwhelm people. And I think maybe there's value in having something as simple as that.
Sure. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you want to do something really crunchy and you want to like run pivot tables on the data, then there's tools that are designed for that. But I think what we've all got to do in all of our businesses is become the best in class in something. And we are the best in class at taking survey responses and segmenting them directly with marketing platforms. While we do integrate with things like Zapier and stuff like that, we are really proud of the fact that our integrations for the major platforms are direct. So there's not that extra piece in the middle. Like sometimes you do need that extra piece in the middle to integrate with some more obscure things or to do some customized stuff, which is why we have the Zapier option there. But really, to integrate direct means there's less links in the chain, so you've got a much more reliable connection as well. So those direct connections are really, really powerful.
We also track all of the data that you might want to see. So things like how long did it take somebody on average to complete this, or how long did it take each individual person to complete the survey, so we can get an average of that. Things like what's the actual conversion rate, the completion rate of each individual survey, how many visitors have you had, all of that data as well.
How smashing. So can you think of examples, different scenarios across different industries where this has been used?
Sure. I mean, we've got a lot of clients who are coaches or consultants of some description, like yourself, for example, Pascal. So one of the big wastes of time, I think, that we see a lot of coaches having is talking to people who are not qualified, who are not on the right stage, or they don't have the right priority to focus on the thing that you're selling. So we have a number of clients around the world who put an application form together using Response Suite to ask qualifying, disqualifying questions. So that basically means giving some people some radio buttons or some images to click on, and one of those will disqualify them in each option. So it might be to do with business size or stage or scale or priorities right now, budgeting questions, industries that you do help versus you don't help. And then at the end of it, when they hit submit, you end it with a couple of things happening. The first one is if they are qualified, you can take them straight to your calendar booking page to book a consultation discovery call. If not, because this is automated and happening at scale, you can take them straight to the world's friendliest no thank you page. It could be a nice video of you saying, it looks like it's not a fit for you right now, but here's some cool advice. Because you've only got to do it once and it's happening automatically, you can put some effort into that and continue having a great reputation and experience for those people and making sure your legacy is intact. So that's really, really powerful. You can also, of course, be tagging those people in your marketing software to follow up with them if they are qualified, or if they're qualified for a different thing. Maybe you have like a downsell, an alternative offer. You could take them to that page for that. So if you're a coach or a consultant and you sell your time, let's make sure we're precious of that time and we talk to more people who are really qualified and who are willing to put that effort in. So that's one really popular application for Response Suite. Rob, you got another?
Yeah, of course. So one of the things that I think is really important is on the other side of that transaction. So when somebody does buy a thing, invest in you, join something, is now to make sure that we sort of onboard them properly. So make sure that you ask them questions to find out more about where they're at, what happens next, the stuff that wasn't that important before, but is definitely important now that you're stepping forward to start helping them. Because we want to make sure that we get every customer the best possible result, the best possible win, etc. So onboarding is really important. We also recommend that actually this is used as a customer feedback thing. So when somebody's bought the thing and you've delivered it, or they've got access to it and whatever, a suitable amount of time has passed where you would normally say, okay, now what did you think? Is to run a survey and literally ask the question, how would you rate this thing from like 0 to 10? And then off the back of that, if they say something that you would consider to be a win, so like 8, 9, or 10, we might consider to be okay. You can now, and you can set that number to be whatever you want. You would now say, great, can I have a testimonial? Can you upload a photograph we can use with your testimonial? Fantastic. In fact, what else do you need help with right now? Give them a bunch of options of other things that you do. Because let's face it, every business on earth pretty much would make more money if our customers knew everything that we actually did. How often do you have a conversation with a customer and they say, oh, I've just hired this company to come and do this thing. And you think, well, I do that. Why didn't you come back to me for that? And so that really helps with that. And likewise, if for whatever reason you dropped the ball or they were just a grumpy customer, because they exist, then of course, and they say 2 out of 10, then of course you can hide the question about the testimonial. And instead you can now say, oh, I'm really sorry, look, what could we possibly do to improve? And you can follow up with that. And again, within minutes of saying, I wasn't very happy, they can get an email from your email marketing platform saying, well, addressed from you saying, hey, I'm really sorry that didn't go very well. Listen, here's my calendar. Let's talk. Let's figure out how we resolve this.
Oh, that's excellent. So I kind of get a hint, which is not surprising, that in addition, in order to get value from Response Suite, a bit of prep, a bit of background graft in and around thinking your email marketing, your communication, breaking down different conversations, so on. So you're almost forcing all of us to take just a bit more mature approach to email marketing, where at the moment, for many of us, if I just, as I mentioned to you when we started this conversation, if I look at my inbox, all I'm getting is that one-hit wonder where I'm just getting bombarded by people who hope that overall, if they get 10% conversion, it's a big win. With Response Switch, you want us to be just a bit more thoughtful, to have more empathy and more caring with our audience.
One of the things that people love more than anything is to give their opinion. Like, let's look at what social media has allowed us to do and why people are addicted to it. It's because we get to have an opinion about stuff we shouldn't have an opinion about, because I really don't have an opinion about most of that stuff that I have a comment on. So if you drop an inbox message, if you drop something into an email as part of your onboarding, as part of your lead generation, whatever, which asks for someone's opinion, you can see people like go, right, I'm going to tell you. And they're now engaged. And that's what's really interesting. The most valuable thing right now, that the currency of social media is engagement. That is the currency. Like, they are buying your time. They're buying eyeballs, which is why posts which get more engagement get shown to more people, and those that don't, right? They get less engagement and they get less reach. A survey, a quiz, a questionnaire, a form is asking people not to just read something passively, but you're asking them questions, which means they have to go inside their own minds, like you would in a sales situation, and think about, what is my biggest challenge right now? And have I thought about that thing? And what is my opinion about that? And when you start getting people to go inside their own minds, that's the point at which you're moving them towards making a change. It might be making a change towards buying something from you, towards believing something, towards feeling something about you. And that's what this really allows you to do, is it allows you to start conversations in people's own minds by tapping into the very thing they love, which is talking about themselves and having an opinion, which is, one of the other great applications for this is as a lead generation thing. We know a lot of people have a little pop-up on the bottom of their website, which says, take the quiz and find out what kind of this you are, or what your biggest opportunity in that is. You click that, Response Suite pops up and asks you the questions, and they allow you to self-diagnose by talking about their favorite subject, themselves. And then what's more beautiful about it than that, though, is then you get to follow up talking exactly to them about their pain points and solving their problems in as an efficient way as possible. Just really briefly, people think this must be a lot more work in terms of the email marketing, and talk about that maturity thing, Pascal. And it actually is not any more work than what you're probably already doing. And this is why. At the moment, people tend to come into your email marketing system and you might have a series of offers you make people. Is the sort of standard way that a lot of people have done it for years. They join my email list through my newsletter, through my thing. And for the first 6 days, I talk about product A. And if they don't buy product A, we then move on to talk about product B. And then if they don't buy product A or B, we'll talk about product C. And we do this in a series, right? But the problem is, if I've got a problem which is only solved by product D, you're going to tell me about 3 things for at least 15 days that is irrelevant to me. That's going to cause me to disengage with your content, with your emails, and I'm not going to get any help. In fact, while I'm waiting to try and solve my problem, I'm off looking other places for that help because I have a now and a current and a present problem, and I need the solution. But you're holding it back from me because it's not till the 4th thing in your chain. Instead, when someone comes into your world, either because they came in through a quiz which segments them, or because you segmented them through a questionnaire or a survey once they were in, you can run these things in at the same time, in parallel. Somebody comes in and you say, "Hey, Pascal, what's your biggest problem right now?" "Oh, it's that you haven't got enough, I don't know, visitors to your website or something." If you check that one, guess what? You don't need to wait 4 sessions, four rounds. You go straight into that one. So you're just running the same campaigns, but you're stacking them one on top of the other and taking people straight to the solution they need, which is good for them because they don't join our email list because they need more friends or more emails. They join your list because they've got a problem. And secondly, it's good for you as a business owner because you turn subscribers into customers faster. And that is the big problem people have with email marketing, is they run out of cash flow, of resource to keep bringing new people in time to liquidate the cost of acquisition. They run out of the money. If you can just solve people's problems faster and make sales faster, that's the same thing, then guess what? You're gonna have that capital and that profit back in the bank to continue cash flowing the subscriber acquisition. So it solves problems for you as a business, and this is why we're so passionate about it. It solves problems for you as a business, and it simultaneously solves the problems of your customers and potential customers faster by increasing relevance and them liking you more. And you do it without Big Brother is watching you, scary artificial intelligence. You do it based on the information people are freely willing to tell you.
And I like the way you've brought back this analogy of a conversation, because of course, if you had a conversation with, your prospect, you pick up signals from body language to actually what they're saying, and you're not going to follow the script of A, B, C, D. Within a moment, you're going to go straight into D, because you know and then maybe later on, once that solution has been provided and they have the great experience, you may remind them back to Rob's statement about, actually, don't forget we do ABC as well. Because I remember, Rob, I had a conversation a few years ago with a client of mine, and we've been working together for a very long time. And then he announced that he'd used a trainer for the team. They had a marketing team, new one, for social media. And I was a bit perplexed. But I say, hey, it's a big world out there. You don't have to use Pascal all the time. So anyway, I kind of politely inquired, and he said, "Oh, I didn't know you're doing social media too." And you kind of sit there thinking, well, the fact that I'm a digital marketing trainer in my head, means that I do a number of things, but also I've been talking about it. But, you're right. That reminder is fascinating. Now, I can't let you go just yet without, of course, talking to you a bit more about email marketing. You are, after all, behind the movement Email Marketing Heroes. On your website, you have this statement, which I think is very bold, which doesn't surprise me, frankly. Email marketing is misunderstood and needs reinventing. So what can we do to do better as email marketers so that we are part of this reinvention as opposed to essentially be stuck in the past? I'll start with you, Rob.
I think this is so important because what most people think of email marketing as is, oh, we've got a promotion, or we haven't contacted our people for a while, or it's that day of the month again when we send out our monthly newsletter. Let's put that together and send it out. And it's sort of seen as like this broadcast mechanism, which doesn't really help because obviously we do use the word broadcast in email marketing, but it's seen as this loudspeaker broadcast ability to just go, by the way, everybody, you know, like when you're walking down the aisle in the supermarket and you hear the thing come over the tannoy saying there's a special offer on pens on, you know, aisle 6. Doesn't mean anything to most people. The people who want pens, they go running over to it, but there's not many of them. It's just not very efficient. And that's why it irritates people, because we see it as a thing, or most people see it as a thing where they type an email, they send it out, they hope not too many people unsubscribe and complain. And if the wind's traveling in the right direction, there might be some people who happen to want that exact thing at that time and they happen to go for it. And that's a problem, because what that means is you can't send out too many, like you can't send too many emails because people are going to get annoyed by that. If every 2 minutes the speakerphone in the supermarket was saying, and on aisle 12, you get really annoyed by it. So we have to be careful that we don't do that. So instead, we have to make email marketing a valuable content thing where people want to receive it. Like when you're flicking through Instagram and you see that motivational quote that moves you emotionally, and so you have to like it or comment it or share it because it means something to you. We have to be able to create that same process through emails. Wouldn't it be cool if you could send emails that sell stuff that people want to receive? They want to forward it to their friends. It's a sales pitch for your product or service, but people want to forward it to their friends because it means something. They want to reply and say thank you. A couple of months ago, we had somebody reply to one of our emails and it was selling something. And she said, thank you so much for sending this email. I'm going to paraphrase, but she basically said, I've just been made redundant at work and I needed to see this email today because this email made me smile. It was actually about the fact that one of our other subscribers had got annoyed because we'd sworn in an email and that wasn't okay by him. So he replied about it. I wrote an email about that. And she said, thank you. This has brightened my day. I needed to hear this today, having just been made redundant. So I think that's what we're looking to do. And that means content isn't we'll send 3 months worth of valuable emails without selling anything so that on month 4, we can send an email and hit them with the pitch, because that doesn't work either. So we're looking to send emails as often as you want. In our business, it's every day. We haven't met any businesses yet that couldn't do this every day. Emails their list every single day with something valuable, interesting, entertaining, funny, inspiring, motivational, and can make an offer in every single one of those emails.
What about you, Kennedy?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the reason I think we get frustrated with email marketing is because email is seen as a self-serving thing for the business. Like, I email when I want to make a sale. And what if instead of emailing when you want to make a sale, you actually email with value every day or regularly, so that at the moment people are ready to buy, you are there. And that switch around in, I'm only going to email when I want to sell something versus I'm going to email and give value so that when they're ready to buy, they understand what I do, or my products or some products, and they trust that I can do it. And I've built up that belief system so that I am there. That's a big switch that we need to look at. And once we do that, we realize actually I can show up every day with some kind of value, and I can be there and build rapport, and people feel like they look forward to our emails. So across our different brands, we email pretty much every day. In one of my brands, I email 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. In Email Marketing Heroes, we email 7 days a week, 365. And what we do is what happened actually was I was doing a lecture in Las Vegas at a conference, and I was flying home, and because of time zone differences, because of one of the airlines who we won't name, British Airways, I was delayed, and it meant I couldn't get to a Wi-Fi connection to send my email that day. And my assistant, who mans my support desk, got 20 something, like almost 30 emails saying, is Kennedy okay? Like, I've missed his email today. So imagine, like, people missed your emails. People replied to them saying, like, literally every day we get a reply to at least one reply across our business. Even in Email Marketing Heroes on its own, we get one reply every day saying, I needed to hear that today. That was really good. Oh, I'm going to use that. That's a really cool idea. Getting replies from people who genuinely enjoy your emails, and thinking of email as a content platform, as another content channel. It is not the place where you bang people over their head until they buy, die, or unsubscribe. Like we said earlier, email is another app on their phone where we can send direct content-filled, valuable information the same way we do on Instagram, the same way we do on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and everywhere else. So that's the big shift that needs to happen. And we need to do all of the selling based on behavior. When somebody is ready and they are showing and displaying behavior which says, I'm ready to find out a bit more about that.
That's excellent. You know, I wish we could continue to talk even longer, because what you're reminding all of us, really, and it's something that I kind of been trying to address as an issue, is this idea of marketing becoming chores that has to go off your desk so that by the end of the week you feel you've been productive and you've been useful. But ultimately, particularly with the world of digital, you know, for me, it's always been whatever the options are, you know, from social media to marketing to SEO to website management, and the list goes on and on. These are essentially, you know, environments to showcase your qualities in terms of approach to customer service, your common sense, and your communication skills, not your abilities to trick people and find hacks and all those ugly terms. Because ultimately, you're right. You know, every time that email hits the inbox, what you don't want someone to go, oh, bloody hell, here's another one. I must remember to unsubscribe one day. What you want for them to say, that is part of who they are. They can't help themselves to be helpful, to be approachable, and so on. And I think a phrase that I use now since probably 2016, which is, you know, you'll find that your customers don't want promotion, they want participation. And back to your point, Rob, it could be an emotional participation. So they shared that moment in terms of feelings all the way to actually filling the forms. But, you know, at every time, what you're showcasing are those qualities. And I think that, well, as I mentioned, you know, as we began, my inbox is full of examples of people who still are not there whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
If people want to know more about Response Suite and Kennedy and Rob, where can they go to find out that information?
Sure. I mean, if you want to think about how all of these ideas on this revolution against old-fashioned email marketing and how it applies to your business wherever you are, because all of our businesses are different and the way we interpret these and apply these things are different. So we've got a Facebook group that we hang out in like all day long, and we discuss how this stuff applies, inspire, share ideas all day long. And it's called the Email Marketing Show Community. It's the community which is around our podcast, which is called the Email Marketing Show. So if you literally go to Facebook and look for the Email Marketing Show Community, it will pop up. And in terms of Response Suite, Rob?
Yeah, just head over to responsesuite.com. You can check it out. You get to try it for 2 weeks for free, for $1, sorry. So almost free. Try that out. And if you like it, great. I'm sure you will.
Thank you so much. Can I thank you both for helping me launch Battle of the Apps, a brand new series to inspire people to, you know, do things very differently. So thank you to our audience, viewers and listeners. Do say hi to Rob and Kennedy when you can and let them know how you thought about this video. Until the next one, can you please go out there and look after your audience better and faster? Bye for now.